everybody, Kenny Wisdom here, bringing you another expanded tournament on Pokemon trading card game online. And today we're going to be talking about Virizion Genesect. So this deck has been around for a very long time, basically since these two cards were printed back in the Plasma block. As you can see, one half of the combo here, Virizion EX on your screen, 170 hit points, Verdant Wind ability, turning off any special conditions, and then an Emerald Slash, accelerating to Grass Energy. Virizion is the most important card in the deck, I would argue. Verdant Wind gives you huge game versus Hypnotoxic Laser deck, Dragalge decks, any of that sort of thing. Protecting your Pokemon from any of those conditions is really what makes this deck be able to work. And then the Emerald Slash ability for 2, doing 50, totally reasonable rate of damage there, and then attaching 2, thinning your deck out. Couldn't ask for a better Pokemon to start with. Next we've got Genesect EX, the main attacker of the deck and also part of the deck's namesake. As you can see, 170 HP grass Pokemon. Red Signal does a Lysander effect when you attach a Plasma. Megalo Cannon does 100 for 3 and then 20 to the bench. And of course, Virizion EX can power that up a little bit so that it actually doesn't take 3 energy attachments. And I think everyone should be familiar with this deck by now. G-Booster, another big part of the deck, allowing you to do 200, discarding 2 energy, makes that Virizion attachment so much better. The things I've really changed in this deck are, I've added a Shaman, so that's a new card that's come out. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not sure if it's necessary, if it's not. Maybe we need more of them. Maybe we need to cut the Jirachi and put in 2. I'm not really sure, but I thought for my first expanded run with this deck in a while, I would try out putting one of what I think is one of the best new cards in the set. And other than that, we have Tool Retriever, which isn't that weird. It just helps you get back your G-Boosters on Genesects that are going to get knocked out, things like that. I'm up to 10 grass, which I really like. You always want more grass energy in this deck, and 10 with the Professor's Letter is allowing you to search them out is pretty nice. For those of you who aren't too familiar with the deck, one of the big things you'll see is high copies of Skyla. I'm playing 2, I know some people play as many as 3, and it's because if you look at the deck list, we have got a lot of 1-ofs to search up. We've got a Super Rod, we've got Professor's Letter, we've got the Tool Retriever we talked about before, we've got Plasma Ball, we've got this G-Booster, and you know, when you're looking for all these specific pieces, Skyla can really help you out. And yeah, if you're looking at the Shadow Triad, that's to get back any of your Genesects, any of your Plasma Energies, your G-Boost, or anything like that. And besides that, I think the rest of the deck is pretty standard. Like I said, been around for a long time, hasn't gone through too many changes, so we're going to go ahead and hop in an 8-player tournament, and I'll see you in round 1. Hey everyone, back for round 1. We will be going first. As I always say, going first with this deck is huge. Prevent all damage to bench Pokemon. Right. Okay. I'm going to start with Virizion. No reason to put Genesect on our bench since we're going first. 99.9% of the time I'll play it, but no reason not to explore our options first. Genesect, attach here. Opponents on 5 cards. Can always Skyla for anything I need. Next turn, I think we actually, I'm gonna go ahead and Skyla for a Professor's Letter here, and go ahead and get 2 grass, and then pass the turn back. I was gonna say there is some value in not playing a supporter and making our opponent think we don't have anything, but I think the value that or the chance that we can attach here and then Muscle Band or something is greater. With that being said, our opponents on nothing don't like Junipering away. 3 supporters. So I think I just attack and build up my board. Hopefully, you know, the next couple draws don't do anything big for our opponent. Rescue Scarf. Girder. Interesting. Let's see. I'll go ahead and attach here. Emerald Slash. I'll just... Whoop. I actually wanted to attach 1 to that Genesect, but misclicked it through it, but shouldn't be too big of a deal. And as long as our opponent's happy to be drawing dead, I'm happy to just sit back on what we have here. I could Jirachi for a Skyla. Yeah, let's go ahead. What am I going to call? No, I'm not going to Colorist. Do I Lysander? I think the Lysander here is fine. Putting the 4th energy on the Genesect just to be able to G-Booster more next turn. Drew it off the prizes, which is really nice. And our opponent has this draw step to do anything. Lucario. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. Actually, yeah, okay, that's fine. Just wanted to double check what that ability did. G-Booster, 200 in the game, so not much by our opponent, but I do think that that game did show a lot of what I think is the power of Virizion Genesect, and something I've talked about a lot, which is I really like the idea that all you need is energy. That turn, or that game, I could have not played any supporters besides the original Skyla to get us Professor's Letter, and it would have been just fine. I think that Virizion is one of the most board-based decks, which can backfire if you don't draw energy in the first 2 turns, because hitting those 2 energy drops on the first 2 turns, especially going first, is huge. But you know, when you do get there, you can just not play supporters. You know, if our opponent had end us at any point in this game, we would have had all our draw supporters in our deck, and I really love that about the deck. And I think, although that game wasn't great, our opponent did actually nothing. It showed the power of the deck when it's completely untested. You know, we didn't have to find anything. We Skylared once and then basically just sat back on our resources. So that's basically it. You know, not too much of a game to talk about, and I'll see you guys in round 2. Hey guys, as you can see, the next round of the tournament starts very soon, but one thing I wanted to point out about PTCGO is that I really wish that if players on the same side of the bracket were finished, they could just start playing. For instance, me and Ready MV were the 2 players finished in this match, and finished in this tournament first, and I don't know why we couldn't just play and move on, if only for the fact that someone is going to lose and like going to quit the tournament, and I don't see why we have to wait for this side of the bracket to be done first. Maybe it's a programming issue. I'm not saying it's easy to do. I don't know. Maybe there's some restriction. I don't know. But I think that it would, you know, really speed up, maybe not speed up tournaments as a whole, because it's still be the number of games played, but it would at least speed up people's expectations with tournaments. So I'm going to start with Virizion here as my only option. Sorry, I just wanted to go on a little rant while I have some time. Clam Pearl. Alright, so we're likely playing against the Ho-Oh deck. There's a Ho-Oh on the fire energy at least. Getting another Clam Pearl off the Ultra Ball and passing the turn back to me. So that says something pretty good, I think. I'm going to go ahead, Professor's Letter for 2, and then Ultra Ball like this. Could get this Shaman or a Jirachi to get a supporter, but I think I'll just take a Genesect, play it, and wait to make decisions until I see what my opponent does. So no supporter last turn, just the Ultra Ball. Discarded a Lysander though. Alright, so this is Huntail, so as you can see it's attack Powerful Storm, does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all of your Pokemon. This is often played in combination with Ho-Oh EX to be able to attach a bunch of different kinds of energy, at once, and then do a lot of damage with Powerful Storm. We have the switch, so not a problem at all there. And we actually drew the Jirachi, which is great. I'll go ahead. Let me survey the board for a second. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a Lysander. Well, looks like we don't have one available to us. Okay, in that case, I'll just go ahead and take a Professor Juniper, slam it, Muscle Band up this guy. Don't think I want to drop the second Virizion, doesn't seem totally necessary at the moment. There's an Emerald Slash for 140. Power up the Genesect, and let's see, our opponent has this draw step to do something. Battle Compressor. Okay, so Battle Compressor can dump Ho-Oh to get Ho-Oh going. Can also dump supporters if our opponent's holding a Versus Seeker. So pretty good job from our opponent. They're still going to have to, let's see. So the fire, so they can dump Ho-Oh and 2 different other types of energy and hit the heads, come back into this game. There's a Tails. Ooh, double Tails off Rebirth. So that's pretty unfortunate. It looks like we're going to go ahead and take this match. Yeah, 2 times weakness. Emerald Slash for 140. That's fine. And that's the game. So two pretty quick rounds there. The only thing... Oh, and we went ticket. Awesome. So we paid 4 to get in this tournament, and we're back on 3. Or we've only actually paid 3. So yeah, the only thing I think we really learned from that game, similar to game 1, is that if you draw the energy, you just don't need to play supporters. I'm fine holding there. I'm fine being very calm and deliberate in my decisions, and certainly if our opponent hits one of those Rebirth flips, the game changes, but I still think we're in a good enough position there that we can win through one of them. But the recurring threat of Ho-Oh may have just been too much for us there, so we got pretty lucky in both of our matches, and I'll see you in the finals. Hey everybody, we are going to go first. And let's see what happens in the finals. This is a fine start. We're going to start Virizion here. And our next play will be indicated by what we draw. Ooh, okay, so not exactly what you want to see. I think I want to play the bridge, and do I just want to draw 2? Our opponent can't knock us out next turn, I don't think, unless anything crazy happens. Yeah, let's go ahead and draw 2 cards. Alright, Juniper, nice. I don't know if we actually play the Juniper. 2 Versus Seeker, the letter, and an energy is kind of a lot of stuff. So maybe we just... Although I guess we need to find the most outs to Genesect that we can. And we did find them. And now I'll pass the turn. And the hope is here that nothing major happens. We can go ahead, attach Muscle Band, do 70, attach 2 to our Genesect, get knocked out, respond, and then hopefully not be responded against. So he's Silining here, so that's a good sign. Tepig would be a threat. We don't currently have a way to deal with this since we can't afford to attach to the Genesect to Red Signal. Although there's a Lysander. Okay, so this is what we're going to do here. We're attaching the Muscle Band so that we can two-shot the Reshiram. And I guess I'll go ahead and Skyla here. I think, just looking through, our G booster is prized. I don't think we want to set anything else up, so I'll go ahead and take this Juniper. Attach here. So the other thing we could have done that actually might have been a mistake is if we hold the Muscle Band, just do 50, our opponent can do 70, which is 140 to us and not knock us out, whereas now with 1 energy they can knock us out. So that actually may have been a mistake. I don't know whether it was correct or not to hold, but something that definitely came back to bite us. Let's go ahead and attach like this. And I don't think I want a Juniper. Red Signal is going to be pretty strong here. And this is wiping our opponent's energy off the board, so we don't have too much to worry about. I'm going to go ahead and hit this Rayquaza, the bigger threat in a way, and also doesn't turn on Outrage. Definitely on the back foot here. Not only is our opponent up a prize, but they're up about 5 cards. They also have weakness on us. We don't have much of a board, so not feeling great here, but there's still a lot of game to play. Malamar. And we don't have a Virizion to protect us, so it's pretty rough. Teammates is big. So yeah, I might have actually been correct to just Juniper, not worried about it next turn, try to set up another Virizion, but, you know, in the Reshiram Rayquaza deck, I couldn't have exactly predicted Malamar, but that might have been better for just building our board. Opponent's generally going to take a long time to resolve teammates. There's a lot of combinations and a lot of decisions to make. I think that Twins, which is the card that was printed in Heart Gold block, that's teammates is kind of a callback to, is one of the most skill-intensive cards in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if the high majority of players took the wrong cards off of Twins or teammates. Really cool, interesting cards. Here's a Litleo, so that's something we have to think about too. There's a Genesect. So we need to find Deoxys Muscle Band. The question is whether we rely on finding that or just try to Red Signal something up. I think it's probably safest to Red Signal up this Litleo and deal with it while we can. And then just go ahead and Juniper. There's the Virizion to turn our protection back on. Interesting spot. Don't think I want to fill my bench. It's possible our opponent's playing Skyfield, but if they're not, I want to leave room for Deoxys. But I also don't want to search out Deoxys right at this moment. So I think I'm fine. Just doing this, building up damage on that Rayquaza. And now we're not in a terrible position. We can, if our opponent doesn't knock us out here, which I don't think they can, we can energy switch attached to our new Genesect, retreat, and we can actually Ultra Ball for the Deoxys and then try and find a Muscle Band off a Juniper, which would be pretty nice. Alternatively, we can attach to the Virizion EX and then energy switch to Emerald Slash. But I don't think we want to put a whole bunch of damage on this Reshiram. I think we'd rather just take the knockout. Luckily, our opponent's playing cards like Tierno and Charon, which, just aren't all that powerful. Just drawing raw cards is obviously good, but, there's a reason why most of the top decks play things like Juniper or Colress. So, I think Charon and Tierno are pretty available on PTGO. I know I see a lot of decks playing those. I think decks that necessarily don't have all of the cards for the other, cards to replace them, like Colress or something. So let's go ahead. So the question here, is whether, let's see how many muscle bands are in here. 1, 2 out of 21 cards. So the question here is whether we think we can hit it or not. So we can just set up an energy on that Genesect, hit this Reshiram, except that we're getting knocked out, or we can go for it, which I think is what we're gonna do. Definitely the riskier play, but I think it's what needs to happen. Alright. So we did miss. So where does that put us? I think, so this is interesting. It's an interesting spot. We can retreat and attack with this Genesect and build up damage on that Rayquaza, let the Reshiram knock us out. Or we can use our remaining energy switches to put the energy on this Virizion, which I think is what we're gonna do. This way we have a 2-shot without being 2-shotted back. We have a full Pokemon with full HP, or a Pokemon with full HP active, and not finding any more grass was unfortunate there. Ooh, there's a Lysander. That hurts, but that's actually fine. We're gonna end our opponent here, and knock. So they'll get into 2. We'll get into 3, and then hopefully we'll be able to exchange prize as well. They're attaching to this Malamar, which is fine with me, and Maximar is a pretty high variance attack. So I'm not, I would be much more worried if they're attaching to this Charizard or building up this Rayquaza, maybe have a Mega Rayquaza later. Maximar certainly is a powerful attack, but, there's a possibility my opponent just goes 0 for 3 on heads. Opponent taking a little while. Just survey the board. So yeah, the way that I see this game playing out is our opponent attacks with Reshiram. They knock us out going to the 2 prizes. We promote, it doesn't matter which one we promote because we have Sky Rovers in play. We'll promote the Virizion because I would rather attack with the Virizion if we find a muscle band and just be able to keep the Genesect back. We end them down to 2. Oh, well, looks like that might not actually happen, but if they're here, we end them down to 2, and then we can go down to 3 prizes, hopefully then knock out a EX. But it appears that we have won, so pretty unfortunate set of games. You know, the first match was basically nothing. We won another trainer ticket, or sorry, a tournament ticket. Awesome. You know, the first 2 games, our opponents drew dead, and then this game, I think our opponent was pretty live. I wouldn't say they were ahead. I think they're ahead on board now, but after our play next turn, with the guaranteed knockout as well as the N, I wouldn't say they're ahead, but they're certainly not behind by a considerable margin, but maybe they disconnected or got distracted or something. But I hope that showed you guys a little bit of power of the deck. You know, like I said, I think the first 2 matches at least showed what the deck can do. Obviously, you know, we were kind of uncontested there, but at least it showed what the deck is capable of. And then the last match I would have liked to have seen gone a little bit longer. It would have been nice to actually play that out. Even if I would have lost, I would have just liked the opportunity to play that out and see how it went. But hopefully that shows you how it can kind of crawl back from adversity. I will say that I do think I made a mistake. I don't think I should have attached that muscle band to the Virizion. I think that if our original Virizion had lived another turn, I think we would have gone from even in that game to, I'm not going to say significantly ahead, but definitely ahead. So we should have waited, done the 50, and then done the 70 after. Although that still wouldn't have knocked it out. So maybe that wasn't the answer. Maybe attaching was fine. Maybe we just had to. That's an interesting question. I don't know. But definitely need to think about those sorts of things. I guess we actually just had to push back the damage, so we couldn't have really saved that Virizion. Which makes me feel a little bit better knowing that even through that Virizion getting knocked out, I think we were going to be even on board. Obviously, there's a world in which we make the play we talked about, end them down to 2, they promote their Malamar, attach, and then just get 3 heads and knock us out and win the game, which is part of the power of Malamar, but most likely that wasn't going to happen, and I got really excited when our opponent attached to Malamar, because I think that if our opponent had been attaching to Charizard, obviously they must have just not had fires in their hand, but if they had been attaching to Charizard or Rayquaza, we would have been way behind in that game. But because they gave us the potential out of Malamar, I think we definitely had a chance. But that was a tournament. This has been your Friday expanded tournament. Let me know in the comments what you want me to play next week, and also next week on the standard Monday tournament. And good luck at US Nationals for all of you who are going this weekend. I'll be eagerly watching the stream. My name is Kenny Wisdom, and thank you for watching.